Catholicism was spread through the world through violence and bloodshed. It's no different on the islands of Solomon Island and Melita Island. There is a figure that is celebrated on the islands that we need to discuss. Alvaro de Medana. If you go around Solomon Islands, you'll see pictures of him. You'll see areas named after him. You'll see buildings referencing him. You'll see paintings of him all over the place. Well, what was his contribution to Solomon Islands as to where he's so revered? Well, by his own accounts, which we'll get into, Alvaro de Medana did not go out to spread the gospel and the love of Jesus Christ. No, he was extending the Spanish crown. Also, he was extending his greed in the forced conversion and the enslavement of the people that they found. This instituted the transatlantic slave trade, and this also instituted the colonization of the Solomon Islands under the Roman Catholic Christian cross. Let's hear from Alvaro de Medana himself. In the book, The Spanish Lake, it details Medana's voyages in Spain's quest to colonize the Pacific, including the Solomon Islands. It describes his first voyage in 1567 and 1568, the search for gold linked to the biblical Ophir, and his failure to establish a permanent colony. Here's an excerpt from the actual book. Medana's expedition was motivated by both greed for gold and religious zeal to claim the islands for Spain and Catholicism alike. But what ended up happening was Alvaro de Medana was unsuccessful in colonizing the land. He ran out of money, some of his men became sick, and he eventually failed in his conquest to colonize the Solomon Islands. So why do you celebrate him? He was violent and he was greedy. In the book Pacific Protest, the letters of Father Albert of the Sacred Heart Mission, Catholic missionaries often accompanied colonizers, seeing indigenous beliefs as paganism to be destroyed. Resistance was met with violence, spiritual warfare backed by colonial power. What does the Bible say about this? What does God say about this? Because this is not spoken about in the church. There's a large Catholic church in downtown Hanera that will never reveal this information. So we'll do it as the Israelites, true prophets of God. Let's see what the Bible prophesied about what was going to happen to the people of the Solomon Islands, the Israelites the Bible speaks of, and who was going to do it. Watch this. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So the Bible is going to outline the curses that are going to befall the children of Israel. Watch this. Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. When Alvaro de Medana touched down on the Solomon Island shores, what symbol did he bear? What nation bore the symbol of the eagle? Spain did. So who was the Bible talking about? This nation from afar, Spain. It says, whose tongue thou shalt not understand. They spoke Spanish. The people in Solomon Islands do not speak Spanish, yet they have the image of the white God, which was the translation of God to them. That's why the image of the beast has to go. When they came here, they brought the Christian cross and the white image of Caesar Borgia, who they portrayed as Christ. And guess what? That image is there to this day. Matter of fact, the images of those priests that came with the colonizers, there are statues outside of the church in Hanera right now. Let's read on. Verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Let me ask you something. When those same conquistadors touched down in the Americas, did they show favor to the young or the old? No. That is the bloodline lineage of Alvaro de Medana, who came to Solomon Islands to do the same exact thing, but he failed. But guess what? That violent spirit passed on to the next expedition that came, and they were successful in colonizing Solomon Islands. And that violent spirit is within the Roman Catholic Church to this very day. Let's read on. Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. Who gave Alvaro de Medana the power to traverse across the waters into land in the Solomon Islands? It was the king. It was the Pope. It was the gold that they had backing him. And what was his mindset? Was his mindset to spread the love of Jesus Christ? Was his mindset John 3:16? Let's see. Verse 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence. That was his mindset. That was his goal. He coveted the land because he heard that the gold of Ophir was possibly over there. So he wanted to come and take it for himself and bring it back to Spain. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Our heritage is the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. You brothers and sisters in the islands of the Solomon Islands, Melita Island, you are the children of Jacob. You are the children of Israel. And some of you know this in the island, but you just have not been taught. You've been confused, you've been deceived because of Christianity and because of Roman Catholic doctrine. It's time to get rid of that. The people of Solomon Islands hold celebrations, celebrating their enemy, celebrating their colonizer. This is what God said. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Why are we choosing the way, the religion, the doctrine of the oppressor? And we're celebrating. We're celebrating him. His intention and his goal was to kill. John chapter 10, verse 10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. If you come to a land that's already inhabited by people and their resources belong to them, and you come from all the way across the ocean to take their resources without their permission, does that not make you a thief? The Bible says the thief cometh not but for to steal, he kills, and those that remain there, those that are still alive, he destroys. How does he destroy them? Through Catholicism. Through celebrating the oppressor. Through celebrating the very person that aims to destroy you. So how do a colonized people think? What's their mindset like? Let's see. Isaiah chapter 28, verse 15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. What is the covenant with death that the people of Solomon Islands have made? They have made the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, their covering, their spiritual guide, their means of justice and judgment in the land, the pinnacle of morality, when really it's a covenant with death and they are at agreement with hell. Why? Because how did Catholicism become the main religion of that land? Through forced conversion, through colonization, through oppression, through chains. Yet our people celebrate it, and they think because they've made that lie their refuge, their safe place, that when destruction comes, it won't affect them. That when war comes to that land, or when Christ returns, that place is destroyed, that it won't affect them because they've been doing it the right way. Let's see what the Bible says about making lies and falsehood your refuge. Verse 17, judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters shall overflow the hiding place. When destruction comes to the islands, the Solomon Islands, Melita Island, there will be no place of covering for those that call themselves Catholic, Anglican, Seventh-day Adventist, all of these man-made religions. The Bible says it will be swept away when destruction comes. Verse 18, and your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. Because guess what also? When Australia or Japan or any of these other nations that find themselves within your borders, and it's their turn to colonize again, it's their turn to push whatever agendas or policies that they want in place, guess who's not going to back you all the way from the Vatican? The Pope. Even though he was just there, even though he makes these trips and these rounds, guess what? When oppression is facing you, when you do not have clean water, when you do not have infrastructure to govern yourselves properly, guess who's not coming to defend you? The Roman Catholic Church. When pedophilia is running rampant in the community, guess who's not coming to save you? The Roman Catholic Church. So we need to come out of these lies. We need to come out of this destruction. We need to come out of this oppression and return to the one true God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, your God, the Israelites.